What is up, everybody? This is Chase, and welcome back to the Wellness Center podcast, where we are destigmatizing mental health one episode at a time. Everyone, this is a special series that we're doing. This is part 2 of the life of Andre Paradis. So if you didn't already listen to his first episode, I invite you to go back and listen to that before listening to this one, because we are just going to continue on with his amazing life. Now, for those who already listened to the episode last week and are tuning back in, I am so grateful for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning into both episodes. His life is really amazing, and his journey and his story is so powerful. And I'm really grateful that I have the opportunity to continue to interview him. Now, a quick recap for those. He was just finished telling us about how he would go on tour, come back and work in his dance studio. And one day when walking into his dance studio, he found his wife, who he knew he was going to marry. So that's what we're going to continue from. Now, before we get back into the episode, I've got a few things I want to mention to you guys. Now, the first is that my two big call to actions for you guys. Remember, the first is to like and subscribe if you're not already a part of the Wellness Center tribe. It would mean the absolute world to me if you would join the Wellness Center tribe so we can continue to grow this community and destigmatize mental health together. There's a couple of ways you can do that. The first is if you're on YouTube is by clicking the subscribe button. It would mean the absolute world to me if you would do that. And then if you are on a podcasting platform like Spotify or Apple, hit that follow button, hit that download button, and hit the notification button for me. If you really do love the episodes, you can go on your podcasting platforms and leave me a 5-star review. If you're on Apple, make sure to give whatever episode you're listening to a shout out. And if you're on YouTube, leaving a comment on the video and just let me know how much it means to you. Now, guys, my second big thing I want to ask you guys or remind you of is that we're doing that really awesome that live Q&A with Andre Paradis. That's going to be happening on November 22nd. I do believe, so that's all scheduled out. If you want to join that, if you want to join the live Q&A and you want to come on and you want to ask Andre questions about your life, lives of others, advice, if you want to challenge him on something, no matter what you want to do, he's going to be with us live for 1 hour on, again, November 22nd. To get that link, it's really simple. All you have to do is shoot me an email. You can email me at chase@thewellnesscenter.life. One more time, that's chase@thewellnesscenter.life, and just say, hey, I want to join the live Q&A. I need the link, and I will get that link over to you. So guys, without further ado, let's get back into this special.
Hear the legends old and new. Wisdom flow like rivers true. Share your heart, the stories thrive. In this cast we're all alive. Oh.
Right. So much
That's
so that
cool.
I remember my radar just kind of folded, like my doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Where's my girl? It just folded like that instant.
You knew she was the one you were going to marry.
Yep. Instantly. Like 2 minutes.
Okay. Wow.
So I know, right. But I'm telling you, with this work that I do now, it's always the case. The men know first, instantly.
Mm-hmm.
The women don't. It takes 3 months for the women to feel safe or consider or think through, or right. Like, it's interesting. Men know instantly.
Why? Why do you think that is?
Well, men are very intuitive.
Okay.
Right? People don't give us the credit for that. Like, we think female intuition. No, it's female gut, male intuition. It's in the head, right? For the gut, for the female, instincts in the gut. They know if something feels right or wrong. Yes, they have a gut feeling. We do too. But we have more neurotransmitters in our brain than in our gut, and they have more in their guts than in their brain. So it's actually female gut, instinct, male intuition. And when a male intuition, without knowing any information, you'll meet some guy and you go, don't like that guy.
Yeah, you can make those quick decisions
instantly, right? Like, it's called, that's intuition. That's knowing something without any proof, but
Yeah,
and,
that's
and my wife would go, what do you mean? You don't even, no, stay away from that guy, right? So again, that was the same thing. It was like, I knew it. And this is the girl. I knew it. This is her. I'm with certainty. And sure enough.
It's interesting. So why do you think men are portrayed so idiotically and moronically right now in the world when we do have this natural instinct?
Yeah, it's intuition.
Yeah, it's intuition.
Yeah. Well, A friend of mine said it best. I'm in Los Angeles, and he does um, commercials,
Hmm.
TV commercials. And we can't make fun of minorities anymore. We can't make fun of women anymore. We can't make fun of, you know what I mean? The only thing that's left to make fun of is males.
Hmm.
And everybody thinks really funny. So in every sitcom, every commercial, he's a big dumbass and she's a genius. And that's always a model. It's been good like this for like many, 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 many years. Like the
Yeah.
new, because you can't, so that's the new going to, right? So they make fun of men and people think it's funny, except
Hmm.
whatever. So that's part of that. There's
Okay.
also the paradigm of not understanding that men are stoic by nature.
Hmm.
We're quiet. We ruminate inside. We don't
Hmm.
talk so much, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of women assume that that means if we don't talk so much, that means we don't think so much.
Hmm.
So they see us as shallow and disconnected and hollow and self-centered and even selfish.
Hmm.
No, it's called stoicism. You know, and one of my men said it best. He goes, to assume that I'm not thinking because I'm not talking is just it's the rudest thing in the world. He goes, I'm not talking because I'm thinking, because we're always thinking,
Hmm.
right? We live in our
Yeah.
heads as males. We live in
Right.
our heads. So that to a woman always feels disconnected. And it's always odd and off and uncomfortable because they want to connect.
Right.
That's where they groove at. They want to connect to feel safe. We don't need any of that.
Do you feel like that the stoicism, the thinking in our brains constantly, is that
Yep.
some type of like genetic anxiety that all males have as like defense mechanisms, or why do you think that we're in our brains a lot?
It's genetic. I think it's, you know, caveman, cavewoman, you know,
Hmm.
hunter gatherer. The
Hmm.
hunter has to make a plan, knows where he's going, has to know where the prey is. He has to like scope the landscape, right? And we're nomads at the time too, so we had to do this every few months. Had to move and relearn everything from that area. Where's the water? Where's the food? Right? So like there was constant planning us as hunters to survive. The
Hmm.
ladies were gatherers, and the ladies would gather the spices and the food and the mushrooms and the berries and whatever, right? And they come together as a community. When the men are hunting, they come together as a community, and some women are doing the laundry, some right in the river, some
Hmm.
women are picking up the berries and the mushrooms, some women are taking care of the kids, some women are tending to the fire, right? There's a cooperation community
Hmm.
that as men are hunting, women are taking care of that, the backstory, I call it, right? Or
Hmm.
the nesting. Again, the purpose for everyone to survive. So
Right.
we've been conditioned like this since the beginning of times. So we have instinct that drive us, and that's one. Stoicism is instinctual for men, right? The
Gotcha. Okay.
opposite for women, revealing everything for women is instinctual because as long as they're revealing and talking, they're connecting and they feel safe. Huh. So it's
Okay.
literally a mechanism, it's operating system.
So I'm curious here. I know we're still working on your story, but that brings up a really interesting point or an interesting question I have is for those men in like in today's world, right, that really
Hmm.
struggle to communicate and connect with their wives, right, because they have that stoicism. They're in
Yep.
their brains. They're hunter
Yep.
gatherers, right? You know, nowadays I know that's more of trying to bring in the money, right, going and working the jobs and doing the
Same
rap.
thing,
It's the same
right?
thing.
Providing.
What do you think are some of the most important things that men can know to help them connect in that way women need to be connected to?
Whew, it's the biggest. This is a loaded question. I could spend like the next 6 hours answering the question, but in a nutshell, we don't understand how different we are. In our
Gotcha.
culture right now, everything is 50-50. You know, masculinize the women, feminize the men, right? Kind of
Hmm.
even out the playing field. So it's going to be even playing field. It's going to work better.
Right.
It's the worst thing in the world.
Hmm.
It's the worst thing in the world
Right.
because so in that trying to answer your question, um, what instinctively the way we operate is completely different one from the other.
Right.
So women need to, if for like instinctively to feel safe, to be good and happy and feminine, all women need to feel connected because it makes them feel safe. If you
Right.
understand that they're smaller and weaker than we are, and we're bigger and stronger, right? So they're always feeling a sense of vulnerability
Right.
in the world because that's, you know, they're smaller and weaker and they could get stolen, taken, jumped, right? Like,
Right.
so so they're always aware of their safety,
Mhm.
And there's 4 layers of safety for ladies. There's
Mhm.
physical safety, emotional safety, financial safety, and spiritual safety.
Mhm.
And a lot of women in our cultures are missing 2 out of the 4. So that's why they're out of sort and confused and like looking outside for help, right? They
Yeah.
lose touch with their connecting radar, right? Divine radar, I call it.
Mhm.
So again, they come from that first. They need to feel safe. And in order to feel safe, part of it is feeling connected. They connect by talking.
Okay.
That tells you why women talk so much, because they don't, it's not that what they're talking about. It's just the fact that they're talking that works.
Got it.
It makes
Okay.
no sense. It has no beginning, no end. As you noticed this, right? We're like,
Oh, right.
they're still talking, but they're not talking about anything, right? Where for us men, when we talk, is because there's a reason, there's a
Right.
purpose, right? There's a plan. There's like, I need this information, or we need to know this, right? Men will lean in, but you need to know this, right? And it's urgent. So again, safety connection for them is primary for them to be okay and relax in their bodies and feel safe, so they can actually be feminine and lovely,
Mhm.
right? We don't have any of that. We don't even understand safety. Men don't even know women need to feel safe. So we constantly scare the hell out of them because we have no clue of that,
Right.
right? Again, so they talk to connect. So they try to talk to us. They talk too much. We kind of glaze over and we go, what's the point? Now I hurt her feelings. She stops talking. Now I'm a jerk, right? So
Mhm.
again, it's not understanding her operating system. The feminine and the masculine are completely 2 different machines.
Mhm.
They're Mars and Venus. It's not even big enough. It's 2 different galaxies. We're not the same, not even a little bit. We're actually completely opposite, but we're made to fit. It's what I don't have that she brings to my life to equalizes me, and this is what I bring to her life that she doesn't have to equalizes, stabilizes her. My favorite way to say this is like we're as equal as our genitals,
Okay. Yeah. Two totally different.
but made to fit
Right.
beautifully,
Right.
right? So men and women are the same. So equality, 50-50, right? Boss babe and sensitive man, it doesn't work. Women don't like sensitive, soft men. They don't make him feel safe. So they
Mm.
put him in the friend zone. He's like, well, I'm a nice guy. You say you want a nice guy. They all say they want a nice guy, but they don't want a nice guy.
Right.
I'm not saying they want a jerk. They want a guy who's like, this is who I am, take it or leave it. Not a
Right.
jerk, right? But like the nice guy to act with, like they hate that. But they all say they want a nice guy, somebody to feel emotionally connected to, right?
Mhm.
A guy in touch with his feeling. No, that's not what they want. They want a guy who's in touch with their feelings, right?
Right.
So again, like, confusion about all this. So soft guys, feminine guys, passive guys, friend zone, and the guy resented. The guy's resented because the culture said, you're toxic, you're dangerous. You have to be, you know, you have to like acquiesce to the ladies. It doesn't
Mhm.
work. Women don't want these guys, right? On the other side, masculine women is a new trade, right? Out there,
Mhm.
go girl, boss babe, don't need no man, make some
Mhm.
money, secure yourself, right? Well,
Mhm.
masculine men don't want masculine women, right? Hunters don't
Right.
date hunters,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
There needs to be a balance.
when women are masculine, men are like whatever, and they don't actually even see you, recognize you. You become invisible on their radar. As much as femininity is a like pulling energy that brings us like magnetic, pulls us towards you,
Mhm.
right? When a woman is masculine, she's in her head like us. She disappears from the radar. She's like an ice cube. Like just
Mhm.
nothing about her is warm and inviting. Same body, but one lives in their head, masculine women, as opposed to in her body, which is what feminine women do.
Mhm.
So we live in our heads, they live in their body, ideally,
Mhm.
but some of us flip the script. And that's kind of in a culture where we are forcing people to do in the name
Mhm.
of equality or justice or better. But it works for money and business, by the way. In the realm of relationship, it's the kiss of death.
Right. Do you
It's the
think,
worst. Yeah.
and thank you. I appreciate that. Do you think it's possible to, so masculine man, feminine woman, do you think it's possible for a relationship to work masculine woman, feminine man?
Okay. So good question. It works for a little while, but it doesn't go 30 years.
Gotcha.
It works for a little while. A lot of women are really boss baby and they're proud of it. And they find some guy who just simps on them all day long and they like it because it feels safe because he's there. But what happened is she ends up doing more of the work than he does.
Hmm.
They switch roles. She's the male and he's
Right.
the girl, right? Often masculine women will end up with artistic men. They're
Hmm.
soft, they're sweet, they play music, right? They they don't want to work. They encourage her to go girl, get that that the promotion while he's on the couch with the dog, spooning the dog, smoking a joint, writing his music, right? That's a common thing.
Right.
So feminine men attract masculine women. Masculine women only attract feminine men. Energetically, that's nature. It's not my opinion, right? Everything in nature is polarized. Yin yang, black, white, masculine and feminine, right? So you can reverse the roles, yes, but it doesn't last because eventually women are resentful of men who don't carry the load, because they don't feel safe. And the more a woman does, the less a man will do. Again, that's like I'm not going to take time to explain, but this is another paradigm of caveman. Caveman is always looking to save his energy in case we need it under attack. So if nothing is urgent, men don't do it instinctively, right? So if she's very masculine, active, and doing all the work, typically becomes very passive and stop even doing the basic stuff. So women get resentful, and she's carrying the load. She's making the money. She's bringing everything in, right? He's just chilling, right? So they dump him, right? They lose respect for him completely, within a few years, and now they're single with kids, right? So it doesn't work. It doesn't work long term. Is what I'm saying. It's counter natural.
Yeah, that makes sense. And one more quick question for you on this tangent before we keep going with your life story.
Yes, sir.
No, you're good. Do you feel like it's possible to flip the roles? So like, let's say, for example, masculine woman, feminine man, they realize that this isn't going to work. Is it possible for those two to flip the roles where the man becomes more masculine, woman more feminine, and the relationship can work out?
So the only, yes and no. And what I mean by that is, for a woman to be stuck in a masculine to that level, we're talking trauma from 5 years old.
Okay.
For men who are that soft and feminine and passive, typically also come from trauma. No daddy, no role model, nobody to teach him how to be a man, right? Raised by a mom who will raise him like a girl to be sweet and sensitive and talk a lot and, live through his feelings, right? Women live through their feelings.
Right.
Right? Everything makes them feel good and bad, and their mood changes throughout the day. That's a natural feminine. That's fine. We understand that. So that's why we need to be stoic. Imagine if we're both, right? But feminine men are doing this. Do you know what I mean? So they're unstable financially, emotionally. They're the ones who scream and shout. Those are by the way, the dangerous ones. Those are the toxic ones. It's not. It's the lack of masculinity that makes men toxic. Because masculine men provide, protect, cherish, give support, everyone. Men, women and children, but also anybody needs help. It's natural.
Right.
Man pull over when somebody's stuck on the side of the road, not a woman. And as soon as a guy pulls over, there's another one behind him just to make sure that guy's not a douche. Because we know they're out there.
Right.
Right. So natural masculinity protects everything, everyone. Right. So interesting paradigm. So again, if a woman doesn't feel safe with a soft man, she dumps him, loses respect, and she's stuck in the loop of producing for herself, providing for herself, fighting for herself, competing for herself. It's exhausting and makes women unhappy. So and you have to understand. So that's like, feminine men. I've never seen one recover from that, where masculine women can recover.
Okay.
So in my world, there's three types of men. There's boys, guys, and men. The boys are the one I'm talking about. The boys are the feminine one. The guys in between, the men, they know who they are, but they're a little bit hard to deal with. They're hard to connect with emotionally because they're stoic.
Right.
But I teach the ladies how to bring him out of his head to give you everything you want. There's a language, I call it Manglish, that I teach my ladies, factual.
It's mansplaining.
It's Manglish.
Manglish.
It's literally, how do you approach him in his stoicness and his righteousness, and he's decided that's how he wants it, and men control everything, the real man, because that's how they survive. It's like hunters. So as a woman, how do you approach him and help adjust, change, right? Tweak something out in his behavior for your comfort, right? So it's an invitation. There's a language, there's a respectful language for that I teach. I'm a educator of effective communication strategies. It's a big part of my work is how the script that you get to be able to negotiate these things with your loved one, your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, because we're two different machines. Do you understand? We speak differently and we hear differently. So when I say something to a woman, she's not hearing what I'm saying.
It's perception. Yeah.
right? They filter it through what's he trying to tell me? Because that's how
Yeah.
they speak to each other. So when they speak to us, right, they go with hints and innuendos, then we go, I don't know what she's saying. Or
Mhm.
you listen to the words, but like the tone was different. So the words don't count. It's the tone and how she did it. So women will say stuff like, it's not what you said, it's the way you said it, because that's how they communicate. So we're like derailed left and right. And we don't listen, we don't speak the same way. It sounds insane, but it's factual, right? We speak
That's
English,
true.
I look
Yeah.
in your eyes, right? We're not
Hmm.
communicating at all, which is another part of the derailment that happens
Hmm.
between women.
Okay.
So there's so many layers of we're so freaking different. It's mind-boggling. Again, Mars and Venus isn't far enough. It's two different galaxies. And the
Okay.
problem is if we think we're equals, right? We actually kind of women want men to act like women and men want women to act like men. Now we're
Hmm.
pointing at each other like that's a battle. That's not what
Right.
works. Nature works this way. I'm
Yeah.
teaching you nature, and everything in nature is polarized. There's nowhere in nature where the feminine is the same as the masculine.
Yeah.
Nowhere. For the reason for survival purposes. He's the
Right.
hunter, and she's the one who nests and has the children. By the way,
Yeah.
the biggest honor in the world. Women now are ashamed to want to be mothers and wives. What? You're better than being a slave to a dude, or the
Right.
children. Children would ruin your life. Really? What do you think your body's made for?
Yeah. There's no greater calling.
It's no good at calling. Your body's made for this, and then you're going to step in the world, act like a man.
Hmm.
Wait,
Yeah.
what? Wait,
Such a
it, it,
twisted world
and,
we're in.
and we know it doesn't make them happy. By the age of 35 or so, they're tired and overwhelmed and feel like they're not they don't have the chemistry to sustain that. And often
Yeah.
in their 40s, they get sick,
Hmm.
all kinds of disease and sickness. We call women in their masculine for 20, 25 years cancer training. They
Mm.
don't have the testosterone to sustain the pressure, the fighting, the competing. Their bodies give out. They get sick.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which is the same thing with boys, by the way, or a feminine man, because they don't produce, which is against their nature,
Hmm.
to think, to plan, to push ahead, to be relevant in the world, because they're passive and do nothing and want women to take care of them.
Hmm.
These guys also die early, all kinds of disease.
Interesting. And
It's very sad.
is it just in the brain?
Huh?
Is
No,
it
it's
in
the,
the
the,
brain?
the chemistry of their body. So a woman in masculine is always stressed out.
Yeah.
So she constantly gets squirts of adrenaline in her blood. And we now know that adrenaline in your bloodstream is like acid, battery acid in your blood, and it
Mm.
attacks your organs. So
Okay.
wherever weakness you have in your body, it will attack it. Just lifestyle. My
Mhm.
sister, who is in the financial world, one of the most cutthroat dog on dog business in the world. The guy next to you is trying to steal from you.
Mhm.
The account, like dog work, like stress and competition, like you can't believe.
Mhm.
But 25 years, and now she's sitting at home in a chair with uh, a double lung transplant.
It's just crazy.
It's not, but it happens. I have stories like this. This goes on and on and on. Like, so
Yeah.
women physically are not made for that kind of stress, because the stress, adrenaline for years actually attacks their bodies. For us men, is not being productive is stressful. If you ever met a guy who's unemployed, he's a ball of nerve.
Right.
He's anxious, he's uncomfortable, right? So the same mechanism there, a guy who never gets his life together, walks around feeling like a loser,
Mhm.
taking advantage of all the women around him, because that's what they do.
Yeah.
The stress of him, the lack of production, the feeling like a loser, the anxiety of this kills him.
Hmm. Do you feel like it's possible to change that chemical makeup of your body, right? Because we've got so many people like Joe Dispenza, and I actually
Yeah,
just had a
love
guy
that
on
guy.
my I had a guy on my show, literally the episode right before you, Billy Peterson, that he talks about how your mind, like these people develop autoimmune diseases and all these things, and if they can change the way they think about themselves,
Yep,
they can change those I am statements. It changes the chemical compounds, and they can get rid of these things.
straight up.
Okay.
Even adjust and change your DNA. It's like that powerful.
Cool. Okay. So
Absolutely.
so with that in mind, I know that you said you've never seen a boy change into a man, right? Is it possible because of the
I'm
that?
sure it's possible, but they'd have to see the value. And what happened is they've
Yeah.
developed a bad habit at the age of 13. Again, no father typically, and being mothered too much, and he learns to live through his feelings and his emotions. and nice boy, right? Smell
Yeah.
good, and right. So they like they're feminized to death, and they can't compete in the world. But so what they do, they all do this. They all do this, which
Hmm.
just makes me angry because they're dangerous for society and women because they learn by the age of 13 that women are here to serve them.
Mm,
Where men protect and provide for women, men actually do the opposite. Men conquer themselves so they can take care of women and have children and build a kingdom, right?
right.
But these guys, they don't want to do any of that. Women are here to serve them. So
Hmm.
these guys go after the powerful women.
Hmm.
Again, the yin yang is natural, so the magnet will work just fine. So masculine women only attract these guys who will ruin your life because they don't want to provide, protect, cherish, give, support you. They want to take your time, your energy, your money, your body. They take, and they have no intention of providing or protecting you. They don't want your responsibility of marrying you or having
Hmm.
your children or paying bills. They love the 50-50 bullshit. They're ridiculous. They're absolutely
Yeah.
ridiculous. But they're everywhere because they're sweet. And part of it is they're very, very seductive
Yeah.
because they're such narcissists, and sometimes psychopaths that they'll say anything to wrap a woman around their little finger, for her to pay for him, take care of
Yeah.
him. Do you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
like they'll appeal to every girl's, teenage fantasies of Prince Charming, and they're really good lovers. That's one of the ways they seduce women. Really
Hmm.
good. Apparently, they're really good lovers because
Hmm.
they're soft. Whatever. They tell you everything you want to hear.
Hmm.
And within a few months, he's like moving to your house because his landlord's a douche,
Hmm.
right? And he quit his job because his boss an ass, right? And now he's driving your car because he can't fix this piece of crap. And then you're lending money that he promised to pay back, he never does. So with the women, my clients, right?
Hmm.
6 to 9 months after meeting one of those who was so sweet and sensitive, and I knew they existed, and he's a great lover, and he talks to me all the time, and he connects. It's a front.
Right.
So basically, what I'm saying is, boys are narcissists. It's all about them. There's no need for them to change. So I don't know what it would take psychologically for them to go, this is crap. I need to get my life together. Right. So
Mm.
the guys that are middle will have this often happen to them. They
Hmm.
don't feel powerful enough and they step in and find some mentorship and some help to man up so they could feel productive and build something. Right. So,
Right.
but a boy, I've never seen one recover because it's working for them. It's all working for them.
Right.
Everybody's supporting them. They're always in pain, they're always in trouble. It's always life is so tough, really, right? But
Hmm.
they'll literally seduce everyone around them to support them, give them money, give them
Yeah.
place. And so yeah, it's ugly. So
Yeah.
again, for my ladies, when I start with the 3 men, right, the first thing
Hmm.
I teach the ladies is how to spot boys, so you never get taken, you never get played, you never get
Right.
conned into some situation where they'll take advantage of you until you say enough of you, and they go, oh, it's fun, see you later, like zero remorse.
Yeah. Wow.
It's terrible.
So
I had a
powerful.
client. This was a waitress, for God's sake, in a diner. 42 years old, waitress in a diner. Right? She kind of miss her planning phase on some
Yeah.
level,
Yeah.
but living in a little one like a studio apartment, but managed to save money. Right?
Good
But
on her.
again, good on her. Right? So she meets a boy. Because again, if you're going to be like living that kind of lifestyle, right, on your own,
Hmm.
struggling, fighting, being a waitress, living, struggling, right? It's masculine. You have to lean in, you have to
Hmm.
man up, right? Found herself a cute little boy who seduced her and moved to her apartment. And I believe it was less than a year. She came home one day and he had emptied her bank account and disappeared.
Oh,
$8,000.
oh man.
That's what boys do. Those are the
Yeah.
toxic assholes. These are the killer, the rapist, not men. Men protect everyone from these guys because we
Right.
know they exist and we can spot them. There's one, right?
It's interesting that you talk about that. There has
Yeah,
been some times that I've looked at men and I've been like, I would never allow you near my wife and kids.
right?
Yeah, it's that instinct you're talking about. That
Intuition.
intuition, that word.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Dude, thank you for going on that tangent with me. I
Woo!
really
Yeah, it
appreciate
was a
it.
tangent.
That was a good one, though. It
Yeah.
was
It's
so important.
fact. That's my work. That's what I see every day, all day long. You know,
So, So to that point, that work that you do,
Mm.
what was that third moment, that third pivotal moment in your life that brought you to this work?
Okay, so because of my brain and my constantly watching, and I'm curious about everything. I want to know everything.
Right.
Right? I understand it's what I don't know that I don't know, and to me that's a liability. So I've always been curious. My temperament, I'm like I want to know everything.
Right. Hey,
So
everybody, just a quick break from today's episode because I've got some exciting news for you. Now, as you know, we're featuring on Andre Paradis in this week and next week's episodes, diving deep into some amazing relationship insights. But here's the best part. Now, on November 22nd, we're taking it a step further with a free live Q&A featuring Andre himself. Now, this is your chance to ask Andre any relationship questions you've been thinking about. Whether it's something we've covered in these episodes or a completely new topic, you'll actually get to get some direct answers from one of the top relationship experts in the world. So to join this Q&A, it's super simple. All you need to do is email me. Right. My email is chase@thewellnesscenter.life. One more time, that's Chase, Chase, just like the bank, at thewellnesscenter.life. And I'll make sure you get the link. Now, don't miss out on this rare opportunity to connect with Andre and get personalized advice. Spaces are limited, even though it's free, spaces are limited, so reach out soon. All right, now let's get back to the episode.
I know everything.
Right.
So I've been taking personal development since I was 23 years old.
Okay.
Right? My friends would go, let's go to the beach this weekend. I go, I'm in a workshop. They go, you're so weird. Because back in the beginning, back in the days, it was weird.
Right.
What do you mean workshop? I says, I'm going to learn some stuff. Go have fun on the beach.
Yeah.
You're weird. You're weird. Yeah, we'll see. All right. So I was always into personal development for myself, business, money, right? Like everything that we don't know. So so after I quit dancing, because I did that for 20 years, 15 years really, as far as the intense part. After meeting my wife, we married and decided to start a family. So unlike my family, I was not going to do it that way, right? So my dad was never there. So I was not going to be the absent dad. So I sure was not going to be on the road, right?
Yeah.
So I quit the road. I quit dancing outside the city. I told my agent, unless the work's in the city, don't call me. And she's like, are you crazy? You know how much money that's going to cost? That's going to like, and I'm like, I'm not worried about me. She's worried about a commission, of course.
Right.
So, but part of something about me you don't know is I'm a car guy. I love cars. I love old cars. I love to restore cars, whatever. So I literally I got off the road, and in 10 minutes later, I owned a body shop.
Okay.
So
Cool.
from life on the road all the time at the airport to 6 miles from my house, I just go to work and people come to me. Oh,
There you go.
oh, different life. 6 minutes in Los Angeles, unheard of. Anyway, the point was I wanted to be local, right? So the shop was six minutes from the house, and the school was 2 blocks away. So as my
You're
kids
there with
grew,
your
both
kids.
of them,
Yeah.
every recital, every parade, every Christmas, whatever, everything, the Halloween parade, I was the one all dressed up, on stilts, freaking people out. Like I was part of their lives at every moment. There was a recital, both of us were there. There was anything, both of us, not one, two. And that was by design, but that was actually a way for me to come off the road because it was getting old. It sounds glamorous, but after a while, like another airport, another hotel room,
Wears you down.
So that was phase 2, right? So as I'm in the phase 2, I took the business as far as I could financially with this brain, right? And at one point I wanted to raise the roof, but I seemed to be not having enough knowledge or whatever. So what do? I take a business workshop to raise the roof of my business, right? So this is the third pivotal time in my life that was changed everything. So the workshop is in Northern California, in San Jose, right? It's a 5-hour flight. No, I'm sorry, it's an hour flight from Los Angeles, 5-hour drive. So in that 3-day workshop, I met a bunch of people, really smart people, right? And I met this couple. So when we fly back on the flight back to Los Angeles, we're sitting in the same row. This is when I thought life was still random.
Yeah.
That moment eliminated that from my thinking forever. Because I just thought life was random. I was a lucky guy. Right?
Right.
All these things that we talked about, I was a lucky guy,
Yeah.
the party, the Hollywood story, right? The
Mhm.
scholarships left. Anyway, lucky guy. So I sit on the plane, and she says to me, the lady, she goes, "What do you do next weekend?" I go, "Next weekend, I'm free. Why?" She goes, "You want to come to a workshop? It's on me." I'm like, "Absolutely."
Done.
Because I'm going to learn some stuff, right? It
Mhm.
could be about anything, right? The workshop,
Mhm.
like, and those things can be expensive. So my
Right.
weekend's open. She's invited. Yes. But then I said, wait, so what's the workshop?
Mhm.
Because I'm like that.
Right. You're
It's,
curious. Yeah.
well, but also like I committed to something that I don't even know what I'm committing to. But again, like,
Fair
so the
enough.
question is, so what's the workshop? What's it about? She says it's called Understanding Women.
Okay.
And as you laugh in my face, right? Every
Uh-huh.
time I tell that story to my buddies, they'd laugh in my face and go, "Really? There's such a thing? That's ridiculous. There's no such thing." Right? But so now, again,
I
you have to,
the thought that
okay,
goes through my head is like how important though.
right, right.
Right.
But so for
Yeah.
me, I remember thinking, but okay, get this. So because I'm an artist, right? And okay, whatever, I'm in good shape, blah, blah, blah. I never had trouble with ladies. I've when you meet my wife,
Mhm.
right? You fall in love with her right away. She's lovely, she's sweet, she's sophisticated, she's a ballerina,
Mhm.
right? So that's how she got in my class. But there's a feminine, beautiful, warm essence that she is. So I've always attracted these type of women. I never
Right.
attracted the crazies like my friend did. I never had the screaming fight and none of that. It's like I always attracted sweet women.
Mhm.
So now I'm gonna spend a weekend in a workshop understanding women. I kind of got this, right? Without arrogance, like I didn't, this was not like at the time I'm married,
Mhm.
for a few years and we have a toddler and like a 4 year old or
You felt
so.
like you didn't need it. Yeah.
Then with me and her, great. We're not
Mhm.
struggling, right? I have my family, I have my wife, I have my baby, I have my family. Like, I mean, like I'm grooving.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I go there going, oh, it's gonna be cute. We'll see, it'll be cute, right? Like,
Yeah.
don't shout, be nice, hold the door, whatever, right?
Right. Common sense
So
stuff.
I remember the Saturday morning driving to the airport. It was one of the big airport hotel with the big ballroom.
Mhm.
And I'm driving there going, oh, yeah, me and keeping my word, right? I'm keeping my word. I don't want to go. It's Saturday morning. I'm sleepy. I don't want to drive 40 minutes to the airport. But I said I would.
There you
So
go.
I went in there backwards because I gave my word.
Mhm.
I said, yes, that's my word. Um, Thinking it's gonna be cute and a waste of time, most likely for a guy like me. Again, no arrogance, just this by story.
Yeah.
I walked in the ballroom, 400 people in there. Oh, okay, not cute. Instantly, I could remember the vibe. Like, wait, something's important here. This is for real,
Yeah.
right? And it was 300 women, 100 men only.
Gotcha.
Now, what are the girls doing here?
Yeah.
Right? So if you had a workshop called Understanding Men, there would be not one dude in there. It would be all women.
Right.
So what are women doing here?
Right.
Right? But there was a plan. So every one of us males was seated with women around us on
Mhm.
purpose. I didn't know that. There was
Hmm.
a 19-year-old on my side here, a 30-year-old, another one in front, back, whatever.
Mhm.
So the man who knows women sits down, but now you got my attention.
Mhm.
And all I could tell you is throughout the workshop, I fell off my chair 7 times, at least, maybe 8.
You fell off your chair.
Like slipped off of my chair with disbelief of what I was hearing.
Gotcha. Okay.
Could not believe what they were teaching us about how they function and they operate. Like, could not believe it, right? And because it's completely foreign to our brain. So all of us guys are like, the heads are coming off.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? And so every time there was a big bomb moment like this, and we're like, what?
What were the women?
No.
What were the women just sitting there nodding their heads?
The
Like,
woman, like,
yep.
of course. So, and then so the workshop leader was a woman who was teaching this. She goes, okay, so just you don't think that I'm the crazy one in the front. We take 5 minutes and ask the ladies around you. Break, right? And how
Yeah.
many times I'd go, what? 19-year-old next to me. What? Yeah, that makes no sense. Yeah, but that's how we are. But that would make me crazy. And sometimes we're crazy. And we think we're crazy. And I confirm. Oh my, this
Uh-huh.
is how they think. This is how they operate. This is why they take everything personally. You think that's important to know?
Mhm.
Right? So
Yeah.
like bomb, like big bombs, right? So much so that my wife said when I came home, I was like white like a ghost. I was upset
Hmm.
because what I realized is I knew nothing about women, zero,
Hmm.
which means I know nothing about my wife.
Mm.
Now, my family, my brothers and sister, I have four siblings. They're all married and divorced, two, three, one's on four. I have my family, I have my baby, I have my, I'm without, but it's what I realize what I don't know is very, very dangerous.
Right.
What am I doing to her that I have no idea I'm doing it? Because again, what they take personally is they think that we know what we're doing
Right.
and they think we do it on purpose, knowing what we're doing. It's never that, right?
Right.
Like when I hurt my wife's feeling, I never mean to hurt her feelings. It's just because again the communication's off, and or I use a tone of voice, right? Or I forgot something. Like it's the being a man that makes us kind of heady and often kind of distracted, and well, yeah, we mess up all the time.
Yeah.
But we don't mean, and it's not something that for us we go like that's just I forgot. I'm sorry. Like, what's the big deal? But to a woman, that means you don't like her, you don't respect her, you don't love her, right? It means because if you did, you would remember and really take her,
Hmm.
right? So they take it all the way to hell, literally.
Right. Okay.
One little, right? So that's okay. That's important to know, right?
Yeah.
And I remember when I told my wife, I go, it's like because I I never thought I did that to her
Okay.
because I never have this attention. I've never. Why would I want to hurt her feelings?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I think generally too, and men and women alike, everyone is doing the best with what they got.
Right. But that's
100%.
not what it looks like.
Yeah. The perception, right, of other
That's not
people.
what it looks like.
Yeah.
Right. Like what she says, not what he hears. Right. What he meant, it's not what she's hearing. Right. And
Yeah.
again, the language, the communication, the words completely messed up. And
Right.
again, the what's on our radar ultimately. Right. I call it our self doubt is completely different, and that drives us. We have no idea. So
Right.
it's all of that that's dangerous. So that
Yeah.
was huge. So what happened to me is I panicked. Well, let me say this: I was just not. I was not going to jeopardize. I was not going to be a statistic because I didn't know.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my brain, right? Boom. So then I jumped to that company. I took all their workshop. As soon as we are done taking the workshop, you could take it for free as an assistant. I was
Oh, cool.
assisting every weekend. I was assisting the workshop. I need to hear it again. I wanted different questions. I wanted to fine tune. I did so much. So
Are they still doing these
oh
workshops?
yeah, they're still absolutely. They're mostly online now. At the time that we're live,
What are they called?
they moved to it's understanding men, uh, understanding men workshops.
The
Allison
understanding.
Allison Armstrong. It's called PAX, but they call it something else now. They keep changing the name. So good, fascinating work. I became, I'm a teacher, so I became on track to become a workshop leader for them. That's when I discovered I want to do this work.
Yeah.
A workshop leader, right? A teacher, a mentor. That didn't work out. Too much politics. So, but that's when I continued learning John Gray, Mars and Venus, Esther
Hmm.
Perel, Shanti Felhan, Dr. Pat Hallen for, think about this, 3.5 years with Dr. Pat in a room with four other people, right? Privately teaching me 46 years of her training in family, child, marriage counseling.
Wow.
Insane. I
I'm
have
sure
books of her work. I have the books of her work, but I literally just ate it up.
so how did you survive 3 years of a fire hose?
I could take it. I was pulling it out of her.
Okay, cool.
I was pulling the other girls, struggling a little bit more, and I don't mean them, So it's just I was so hungry for it because
Yeah.
actually all the stuff that I learned from because Dr. Allen was the last of my five mentors
Mhm.
that I work with, right? It's like so they were all like all the guys I just mentioned, the ladies, but she was number five. And what happened is like Alison Armstrong is all about anthropology and instinct, and we talked about caveman, cavewoman that drives
Mhm.
us to this day, and we think we're beyond. Ridiculous. We're
Mhm.
not. It drives us, right? Esther Perel is all about love and intimacy, right?
Mhm.
And why do people cheat? Why do people cheat? And
Mhm.
that whole beautiful discovery of human behavior and the things that we baffle us, right? Specialists in her field. Alison Armstrong, special. Dr. John Gray, special in his field, and he does a lot of work the past 15 years about the chemistry of our bodies that makes us think, feel, behave differently. We're not the same. We're not
Mhm.
the same. We're not the same. You'll say this like me. We're like Mars and Venus. So we're not the same a little bit. And that's a mistake because, we need to embrace our differences and work with them as opposed to trying to change the other.
Right.
Shanti Felhan in the South is the paradigm of love and respect. We both want love and respect, but they come backwards. Anyway, so Dr. Allen at the end, as I get all these specialty training,
Mhm.
specialists in their own field, kind of puts it all together.
Something
And
clicks for you. Okay.
but all the pieces came together.
Gotcha.
So this became elevated. This became elevated. This understanding became elevated. So now I'm up here in the stratosphere,
Mhm.
and I connected 5 dots or 5 specialties. And from the backside, I feel like this is gonna sound arrogant, but like Elon Musk did that. Elon Musk is, degrees in engineering. He has
Mhm.
degree in physics, quantum energy, science,
Mhm.
economics. Yeah, right. Because that's how he became. So he like these five
Right.
fingers. And what happens when you're a pro in each? There's a stratosphere where they come together in a place where no one lives.
Mhm.
That nobody's been able to access. So I look at
Yeah.
this Elon Musk and I go, yeah, he's in the twilight zone and he's
Mhm.
untouchable. That's kind of how I feel
Well,
about me.
well, and that's a great place to be if you think about it in the realm, and this is just kind of how I'm making the connection in my brain,
Mhm.
that in the realm of music, right? I love music. There are five, soprano, alto, tenor, bass, and baritone, and
Ta-da!
when they're all hitting their notes, there's that overtone that you can't create without the others.
Exactly.
You found your overtone, is what I'm
Crazy
hearing.
stuff, right?
That's
So,
super cool.
but again, it was the training and the resilience and the curiosity and the like endless curiosity. And when I learned this one, I'm like, that's amazing. What is more? Oh, right? And God. So I'm a fortunate
Wow.
man. I'm a
What a
fortunate
be-
man.
what a
Yeah.
beautiful life.
Yeah,
What a
no, like I said, I live in Los Angeles. I have everything, family, money,
Congratulations.
property. Okay. Like, but
Wow.
now, so my cup is full, and that's
Yeah,
why
absolutely.
I want to spill it on the world.
And
I talk about my world mission, right?
thank you for spilling it on
I'm
this
spilling.
podcast today. You're
Thank
doing
you.
great, Andre.
Thank
And
you for helping
it,
spilling.
my pleasure, man. This has been, and I think this is a great place to kind of end the show today.
Mm,
This is unlike any episode I've ever done. I typically have my 5 questions that I ask people, right, where they just kind of bring me through their humanity. But I'm a spiritual guy, right? I felt
I could tell.
that, thank you. I felt before we even started today that this wasn't supposed to be that.
Mm,
This was supposed to be exactly what you brought today. And I'm so
mm,
appreciative of you.
thank you.
You're right. 2-part series.
I know it always happens. It's too much for one podcast. You have to split it.
No, it's great. And I'm so appreciative of you, man. So I do have one more question for you.
Yep.
I know we're hitting that emotional max. We're hitting the spill. We're hitting that spill point here, but
Yep.
I feel the need to ask you this question.
Yep.
And it's the last question I ask on every podcast, but I think it's so important, right? For those people that are listening to this, that
Mhm.
they've gone through both of your episodes, because this will be a 2-part series,
Yep.
and they're realizing, just like everyone does at some point in their life, and it's that, oh crap, I need help
Mhm.
moment. It's that I need to be better. There's that call to be higher, right? That first step into the hero or the heroine's journey for them.
Mhm.
What advice do you have for those people?
Jump, jump, jump now, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's something I found very fascinating that I discovered in my work is that, because I've done it, and I think we all do it to the degree of injury that we experience as children. But when I say masculine women come from trauma, factual, and so the defense mechanism is if the little girl doesn't feel safe, she has to man up,
Mm-hmm.
and she becomes masculine and is not able to grow into a feminine naturally. So masculine women out there are traumatized. Bad daddy,
Yeah.
no daddy, abandonment issues, neglect issues, abuse issues, somehow all four plus sexually, like it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So we all go through the ringer. Nobody gets out of childhood unscathed.
Right.
So like there's a reason why women are masculine, and it's also a reason why men are feminized, right? Like no daddy, no role model, overly cuddle, blah blah blah, and so it becomes a way of operating. So what I've noticed that's amazing is throughout our 20s, so through childhood, as you survive, you go into it's a survival mechanism that's just man up for the ladies, for the guys you ease up,
Mm-hmm.
and actually you never get your balls. You get emasculated to a degree that you have literally no masculine essence energy to you. It's
Mm-hmm.
terrible, terrible, right? those injuries are difficult to push through. They're difficult to live. Like, so, like, what people do is they, through their 20s, they just push through it, right? They design a life and they go to school and they gotta make some money and they gotta make themselves feel safe, or right. But the guys, they'll be all hearty and go into like music and, you know, like, it's interesting. They go in the feminine direction, everything creative, right? Writing,
Yeah.
dancing, singing, right? So the feminine men are great at this because they're in their feelings, where the women are in their heads conquering the world, right? So again,
Mhm.
it's a revert kind of an inside out kind of reaction. Like, we'll call that ego dystonic, right? Living
Mhm.
outside your essence. But everybody who fought through their 20s to build a life differently away from their trauma, the trauma
Mhm.
doesn't go away. And it comes and catches you in midlife. Every one of us in
Mhm.
midlife, everything that you try to ignore, everything that you try to push through, everything you try to accomplish, but you have this belief in your head that you're not good enough, you're not lovable, right? You're not worthy. You know, life is terrible, hard things, and you'll
Mhm.
never get ahead. And we know your subconscious rides the whole show. So
Right.
you're not good enough. And there you go. We'll show you life that you're never good enough, right? You're
Right.
not lovable. Here's another douche who's going to take advantage of you, right? One
Right.
after the other after the other. That's the tragedy of being human. The belief that we picked up at 5 years old, most of us, carry us the rest of our lives. And what the human brain does is it proves what it knows. We
Exactly.
don't make choices. We prove what we know. So if you're not lovable, you're gonna constantly prove that that you're
And
not lovable, and you think, see, and so again, what I'm saying is, by the age of 35 to 45, midlife, all that comes down crashing hard, and you can't push through, and you realize you're screwed, and you realize you're stuck in a loop. You can't ever get what you want financially, relationship wise, or whatever. You can't get ahead of yourself. Something else is driving this thing that's always pulling you down. Yeah, it's the
Mhm.
subconscious. It's your belief system from childhood that we have to
Mhm.
clear up, and that's part of the work that I do. I clean up the nervous system so you can be free of these beliefs that you don't even remember, that are
Right.
driving you, and then tools into stepping into what's the dream. If we could clean that up, then you could be actually present, and there's nothing wrong with you, because there's nothing wrong with you. You just probably could be past. What's the dream? Marriage, kids, long-term companionship. Let's go.
Jump.
Let's go. So,
Let's
like,
do it.
so when you get smacked in the head by life, midlife, right? If you don't take action, then mine was earlier from my own experience as a kid. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But as you know, typically midlife, if you don't step in and do your work, then you're doomed to do the same thing the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And that's the tragedy.
Yeah, that is a tragedy. I love that. My reality like that came when I was 25.
Nice.
That subconscious awareness of
Mm-hmm.
what was going on. Yeah, I hit at 25. And I can personally test to what Andre's been saying, guys, that if you take the jump, you do the plunge, right? Whatever analogy, you enter the cave, whatever analogy you want to use to take that step, it is one of the most uncomfortable,
Ah,
one of the hardest, and one of the most rewarding things you'll ever do.
yeah. It takes courage,
It
and it
does.
takes balls, it takes guts, it takes time, it takes money, it takes energy.
Hmm.
But I tell my clients, right, like what else do you have to do all day?
Right.
Right? Step in, otherwise you're gonna stay miserable.
And
Like, go.
and it's not uncommon, this knowledge that at the end of someone's life, they're going to look back,
Right.
right? You hear about it in the movies, you hear about it in the stories, you hear about it from your family. You look back and you look at your legacy. Do you really want your legacy to be one that you allowed these negative beliefs about yourself to dictate your entire life? Or do you want to take the plunge now and live a life worth living? 100%.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Right.
Cool. Well, Andre, it is at this point time to sign off.
Ooh,
My so thank you so much for this interview, man. Truly
dude.
one of a
Yeah.
kind.
Well, also, if you don't mind, it'll take a couple of minutes, but
Please,
I have a gift for you listeners. I actually have two gifts.
please, please.
You game? So again, I told you my life's mission, my God mission is to spread this to the masses. So thank you
Absolutely.
for being a disruptor with me and sending the waves of hope and understanding. And there is hope, ladies, for a healthy relationship. Man, there is hope for a healthy relationship in the world.
Mhm.
But if you follow the culture you're pretty much doomed. This makes it almost impossible. But so there's a way to do this in a modern way, right?
Okay.
That's not going back to the 50s. That's ridiculous. There's a modern way to do healthy relationships in the modern world,
Hmm.
right? This takes some fine tuning. It's like learning how to dance. Are you ready? Look behind me. This is learning how to ballroom dance.
Love it.
That's my wife and I. Now,
That's
ballroom
cool.
dancing is not natural. Ballroom dancing has to be taught. You have to learn years of training in order to glide on the dance floor with this beautiful woman, like you're completing each other. That's a relationship, right? This has to be learned,
Right.
especially in our culture that has everything inverted and reverted and backwards. That doesn't work, right? So there's a classic way of doing what works best in a modern way. Anyway, so my God mission is to spread the waves, hope, men and ladies and gentlemen, that is doable. You have to learn. You have to learn. Like if you have to learn to ballroom dance, you have to learn
Right.
because nothing out there now works naturally because we went backwards. Anyway, we're going against nature with every belief. Anyway, that said, thank you for helping me spread the word. But what I do podcasts throughout the week, 2 to 3 a week. And I notice there's two type listeners that come to podcasts. So I have two different gifts. So some people come in on the podcast because they're curious. They want some information. They're starting to dabble. Like they're starting to question the things that they don't understand. Do you know what I mean? So like pokers, I call it. Like they're just, let me see what this is all about, right? Let me see what this is all about. I'm a little curious about this, right?
Right.
So they're information seekers, I call them.
Okay.
So if you're an information seeker listener, I have a gift for you. If you go directly to my email, this is my email, Andre Coaching, the number 1 at Gmail, Andre Andre, Coaching, COACHING, the number 1 at Gmail. And in the subject box, you write workshop. I will send you a digital, obviously, it's a recording, a 25-minute workshop that I designed for ladies. And it talks about, how do you balance the love lane and the money lane? Because in our culture, we expect women to do it all. And we now know statistics, my own work, that you cannot be in both lanes. One suffers, right? So is it possible to have it all? Actually, it is, but it's not what's taught out there. So this workshop, like I said, just Under Coaching 1 workshop, 25-minute video. You also see where I come from with this stuff, right? So you get familiar with some of my work on top of that, but it's a gift for people who are looking for information. Okay, that's one. The second listeners are typical action takers. Oh, I talked to this guy, right? Like something resonated and they go, like I'm caught in the loop and I don't know how to get out. And I'm in that phase of, I want this to stop, right? So if you're an action taker, takes courage, Andre Coaching 1, and a box, just say, talk now. And what I'll do is I'll send you to my calendar where you book yourself a time that's open.
Okay.
And we'll have a one-on-one conversation for about an hour and 15. It's an hour call, but I always go extend. And in that call, literally, it's like, it's a personal thing, but it's not intimidating. This is who I am. I'm on your side already. If you have the guts to show up, I love you already. Because you're the ones who, right, like step in to change your lives and the lives of people that are connected to you in the world, right? So
Absolutely.
Huge honor for me if you step in. But in that hour or so, right, we go right to, first thing I do, it takes 15 minutes, go right to the source of the trauma that got you stuck into masculine or feminine, where the wheels came off. We decode it, and we actually just point it. Like, this is what it was. It's not your fault. You're not lovable. You're not worthy. This is a conclusion you came by the fact that you weren't loved right. So we conclude there's something wrong with us. And that belief is just driving us. So when you spot it and realize it's just, okay, you might have had, like me, bad parenting. That doesn't mean I'm a piece of crap. But that's how I took it. Do you know what I mean? If they love me, if I was okay, if I was a lovable person, they would love me right. But they didn't. Right. It must be my fault, right? So this is how we destroy ourselves. 15 minutes, we figure out where the wheels came off. And I realize there's nothing wrong with you. You're just a product of your past, which means we could fix it.
Right. And
then so if we could fix it, then what's the dream? And we'll talk about the dream. What's the dream, right? Like, what's your heart's desire? What is it that you want? How do you want to finish this? And again, then you get ways to jump in with me if you want. And
That's cool.
People don't want to jump in or can't or whatever, right? That call for some of them changed their lives because they understand there's nothing wrong with them. They're just product of their past, and that alone sort of is liberating. So
That's amazing, Andre.
That's my offer.
What a wonderful gift. And guys, just so you know, his email and both of those subject lines, workshop and talk now, will be in the description. So if you are someone that's ready to take the plunge, ready to take the jump, if you're willing to have the guts to step into the arena, right? Go there, email him, talk to him, reach out to him. He'll change your life. It's a guarantee.
Thank you.
So yeah, of course. Andre, thank you so much. Thank you, dude. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
If you could hang on for just a second, I'll do the outro and then we'll talk to you right after.
Yep.
Everyone, that was Andre Paradis. What a phenomenal 2-part specialty series that I didn't even know was going to happen, right? All things are as they should be. No coincidences. What a powerful episode. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and listening to both these episodes. What a moving, heartfelt, energetic, emotional conversation. I feel so changed by it personally. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in at this point, up to this point. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe. Hit that follow button if you're on a podcast platform as well. We're planning on bringing in more people just like Andre, more powerful people sharing powerful lessons and powerful skills. And I want you to become a part of the Wellness Center tribe. Guys, if you want to come on my show, I want you to understand I'm always looking for guests. This is a platform to celebrate life. Right? No story is too big. No name is too small. If you have a story, I want to share it all. Please contact me at chase@thewellnesscenter.life. Again, my email is chase@thewellnesscenter.life. Let's get you scheduled to come on my show. Let's share your story. Let's celebrate your humanity. Guys, if you want to know more about what I do on my day-to-day basis, please go to www.thewellnesscenter.life, where full body pulsing red light therapy can rejuvenate and recalibrate every single cell in your body, one session at a time. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you guys on the flip side. Peace out. Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to today's episode. But before you go, I wanted to remind you about an incredible opportunity that's coming up. Right, as you've been hearing in this week's and next week's episodes, we've been diving into some really powerful insights with Andre Paradis. But it doesn't end there. On November 22nd, we're hosting a free live Q&A session where you can ask Andre your own relationship questions. Now, this is a rare chance to get direct advice from a leading world-class expert. Whether it's about something we've discussed on the show or a completely new question, all you need to do is email me. I'll make sure to get you the link so that you can join. Don't wait too long. Spots are limited, and I really don't want you guys to miss out. All right, that's it for today, guys. Thank you again so much for tuning in. Tune in next week for Andre, the second part of Andre's episode, and I hope to see you guys at the Q&A. See you later.
I found my light so true. Every scar became a story